Stop it with that.
Never.
No. Hello, I'm Rosalie Kicks.
And I'm Kate Beach.
And we are from MovieJawn, and this is our show Beyond the Bite, which is a video podcasty show where we talk about the Vampire Lestat. And today we're going to talk about the last episode.
Oh, I can't believe it's over. I'm so sad.
Yes, and a lot happened here, but then there was also, I feel, a lot of open-ended.
Yes. And a lot that didn't happen. Like,
yes.
It was action in terms of character as opposed to action in terms of action. Driving the plot, driving the story forward. Although it did very much do that by the end.
Yeah, and there was a lot of things that I thought were going to happen that didn't.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I guess, where do you want to start? At the beginning?
Yes. Let's start with
okay.
our heroes with their heads cut off.
Yeah, so after episode 6 ended with their heads on the ground, I was really wondering, like, I knew that they weren't dead.
No, we know they're not dead, but you do have to wonder a little bit, where do we go from here?
Yeah, and I have to say I really liked it.
Yeah.
I liked where the story went. So we kind of see, I guess, Lestat is, I feel like, in this alternate universe where he's like kind of crossing over.
Yeah.
And whereas Louis is more, I would say, in peril.
In reality and in immediate terrible danger.
Yes.
Under the watchful and experimental eye of Armand. And Dr. Farid, who's not there.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I guess, do you want to start with Lestat first?
Yeah, let's get into it. I mean, this whole season I feel like has kind of been about Lestat running from all of his muses, all of his history, all of his guilt, all of his pain. And so it kind of only really makes sense that the finale would force him to sit down with all of those things and all of those people from his life, and have to finally confront them after he's just spent 6 episodes spiraling in his quest to avoid them. Not anymore.
Well, and that was the interesting thing. I liked that they literally brought that long table back from his childhood.
Yeah.
Which clearly, right away, he's like, what's with this long table?
Yep.
I'm also in the room that...
in Magnus's tower.
Yes, where he was turned.
Where these memories are kind of mixing and melding together with these people from all different eras of his life.
Yeah. So... It was, I just thought, a really good choice.
Yeah.
And I liked the way that they, I guess, wrote the scene out.
Yeah.
Of having all of the different people from his life.
Including the younger versions of himself.
Yes.
The baby Lestats were there.
Yes.
Who, I think several times this season, Lestat has seen them. And I think reckoned with them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And wanted, at least to the very young Lestat, to be kinder to him.
Right.
Yeah.
And I did want to know, did you know that he turned TC? That was kind of new to me.
That was a surprise, a cool surprise to me. I think, it seemed like he had a little bit of a soft spot for her anyway. And for her to be the one that he chose to turn while Gabriella took the rest, presumably, is really, I think, kind of adorable and nice.
Right.
Like, she's cool and she's leaning in. And she's into it.
Which then made more sense to me when I thought back in episode 6, where, clearly Alex seemed to be kind of having a tough time being made.
Yeah.
And then Lestat made that quip to Gabriella, like, hey, why don't you go be a mother to him?
She's not so good at it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it seemed like, probably TC kind of had a little bit better off with
Yeah,
Lestat.
I think, and she clearly wanted it, which is, and she asked for it I think, even more strongly than the rest of the band.
Mm-hmm.
And that has always been Lestat's sort of motivating factor, is that you have, because of his traumatic experience with Magnus, when he does turn someone, with the exception of Claudia, which was what Louis wanted, it's what he wants them to say yes.
The other thing I really liked about the dinner, I guess if you want to call it a dinner party,
yeah,
was that it had all of these different characters from like previous episodes, but then it also brought people back.
Yeah.
Like, I was shocked that they brought the tenor back.
Oh, I loved seeing that tenor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, so I really like how they wove in all of these different people from the previous season, because Antoinette was there.
Yep.
So.
And, Louis is obviously the most important member at the Long Table Council.
Sure.
But Magnus considers himself the chair.
Yes.
And is corrected at one. The things shift.
I liked that as well when they did switch and he was like, "Oh, you want your other mother."
Mommy. Yeah.
Because I think Magnus referred to himself as well as like a mother.
Well,
because he made him.
Yes.
Lestat
wanted mommy.
This episode, I was writing down so many quotes.
Yeah, I wrote down a lot too. I mean, just in particular related to that switcheroo of Magnus and Gabriella, Lestat very kind of like witheringly saying to Magnus, "I knew you for a week."
Right.
Which is the truth. Which is what happened. He knew him for a week. And then,
And one of my...
Gabriella failed him for years.
One of my favorite things that Magnus said was, "Consent is a 20th century concern."
Yikes.
Yeah. I was like, whoa.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad he got canceled from being the chair. Because I didn't like that.
Although...
It's very Magnus.
Mother takes the chair.
Yes.
And then I did feel like there was a shift, obviously.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yes. I mean, over the course of this season, the show, I think, has been really clear-eyed and really intentional about how it's portrayed incestuous abuse. Mm-hmm. And they don't... Gabriella is a bizarre character, and she can be funny, and she can be a lot of different things and a lot of fun to watch, but they don't I felt like they've never sort of shrugged off the fact that she did abuse him, that she is probably the root of all of this pain and
I'm glad
suffering
you're bringing
for Lestat.
That up, because at one point, and I think this was such a great moment with Lestat where he's asking these people why they did certain things that they did.
Yeah.
And he asks her, "Why did you take me there?" referring to the witch burning.
Yeah, which included the burning of his childhood friends.
Yes.
Yes, little girls that he played with.
And it was just very interesting. Well, so Gabriella said that she wanted to see who these people were.
Yeah.
So I guess she was...
to sort of force him to get out of Auvergne.
Right.
Yeah.
But obviously, to a child...
Yeah.
What a traumatic way to do that.
Horrifying.
And, she says that, but did she explain any of that? Like,
I'm sure not in a way an 8 or a 9-year-old I think he was, could understand. And I think, her motivation, I think, for him getting out of Auvergne was not charitable, really. It wasn't that, I want better for my son. It's, she struggled in her position. She was extremely limited in that world by her situation, by her gender, by all of these things. Lestat was her only opportunity, I think, at sort of even a window into the larger, better, more exciting world. Well, she needed him to do that so that she could do it.
And on top of that, so he saw that incident, he was a young child.
Yeah.
He didn't leave for many years after.
No.
So she shows him this horrific
and it's like,
incident.
let's lay the foundation of how terrible it is here. You can't really do anything about it for a while. I mean, he did go to monastery, but
Sure.
that didn't, he was plucked out of that, and
Right.
he joined the acting troupe, and that didn't last, and
Right.
yeah.
So, but then what was really interesting was him connecting the dots of like, holy shit, I did the same thing later to his daughter.
Yes. Yeah.
And it showed the scene.
I was, really, I'm not enjoyed is a hard word for that, but like, appreciated the flashes to what he did to Claudia at that time,
Yes.
Yeah, when she killed the boyfriend.
Yes,
Yeah.
and realizing like the cycle of abuse.
Yeah.
He was raised that way.
Yeah. And he wasn't
And it
given
affected
any
him.
kind of, tools to deal with things like that.
So
and yeah.
That was a lot. Like that whole
It was
scene.
a lot, yeah.
But yeah, and then, I think from there, I don't know if we want to get into like the concert scene yet or talk a little bit more about where his head actually is.
Yeah, I mean, I think, do you want to jump over to Louis for a little bit?
Yeah,
and
let's talk about
check in
Louis.
on our headless friend.
Yeah. So, I will say, this scene blew me away.
Okay.
Like the acting, the dialogue, I thought it was just very well done. The pacing, just everything about it.
Yeah.
And Assad is an amazing actor.
He's incredible. What he can do with just his eyes.
Exactly.
Considering he's wearing what look to be very thick contact lenses that cannot be comfortable. They're probably very hard.
Yes.
Is amazing.
Well, and we watched the episode separately, and when after I was finished watching it, I texted you how I just find his ability to like telepathically make people do things scares me.
Yeah.
Like,
it's very convincing, and I'm not sure that
he
can't do that in real life. Like,
right.
I don't know. I think he could get me to like, I don't know what. I'd have to find out. But like,
and it's
there's
really
a non-zero
scary
chance that he could make me like walk off a building.
When he's telling people to rest.
Ooh, scary. Because I do love to rest.
Right.
So I feel like I'd hear that and I'd be like, yeah, that sounds awesome.
Right.
But then my downfall.
So the basis of this scene for me was Armand wanted an apology.
Yes. Well.
That he felt was deserved.
It's time for the amends.
Right. Which I completely missed.
I rewound it because I watch it with subtitles and I saw it. They typed in, whoever is transcribing, they were very clear that and they were in quotes, the amends.
No, I believe you.
I rewound it to watch it again because it tickled me so much. It's just so silly.
And I believe you. See, I don't watch things with subtitles unless like the audio is just very poor.
Yeah.
Because I do have this issue where I will end up watching the words
subtitles
instead of the picture.
Yeah.
So I typically don't have things with subtitles on, but I do want to go back because it's just very funny to me.
Yeah, I would say,
but it's perfect.
It's perfect. And, Armand is not without flair. Like, he's got, some conversational flair. I loved his peppered in girlies.
Well, who he reminds? He's like a Hannibal. Did you ever watch that show?
I never. Everyone I know.
Oh my god!
I know everyone that I've ever met who's talked to me for more than 5 seconds is like, "You love Hannibal, right? That's your thing." And I'm like, actually, I've never watched a minute of it.
The TV series was just fantastic, and when Hannibal kills you...
I'm too busy advocating for the TV version of The Exorcist that nobody watched. So
well, how about this?
I
will watch that.
Okay.
And you have to watch Hannibal.
Good, it was really great.
Because I actually
watched The Exorcist.
I was actually thinking about rewatching Hannibal because I only watched it when it was on.
Okay.
Like, it was a show my husband and I were watching as it aired.
Yeah.
And it was just so exciting.
All right,
when a new episode would come on. But the reason I brought it up...
My great friend Kent is a huge fan, and he's been wanting me to watch it for years, so...
Is because when Hannibal kills someone, he does it so artfully.
I have heard that, and I've seen some beautiful stills from the show and some clips, and I'm like, that looks great.
Armand, I think, would get along with Hannibal.
Yeah, I think he's got that artistry in him. He's creative. And he's passionate.
Something I really noticed about him in this particular episode was that he's so cruel.
It's in there, I think...
and he's very... like, just diabolical.
All of our characters, all of our heroes and anti-heroes in this show and have that capacity within them. And it just depends on when they're turning it up, I guess. And Armand certainly is turning it up in this scene with Louis, and when they bring in Regina especially.
Well, that
gets very...
So that shocked me.
It was shocking. Yeah.
Did you think that he had anything to do with that?
No. His web connects them all.
Oh my God.
I didn't have any sense that was coming.
That is my point of where I really was like, wow, he is just cruel.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. Well, he's very old. He's very smart.
He's very old.
He is. He's been around for much longer than any of the other vampires. Even he's considerably older than Lestat.
Right.
And he, I think, is just he's smart. He's powerful. He's very strong. And he's doing what he needs to do in this moment.
A lot was revealed here. Like, he also admitted to changing the photos.
From
season
put in the
2,
Fred Steins,
right? Yeah, season 2 where they were going through. He said he just did that to mess with Louis' head.
That's mean.
Yeah.
It really unraveled Louis at the time. It really,
It did.
It truly messed with his head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was so insecure, and he hadn't been told a lot of good things about his work. And that is a through line in the books, right? Mm-hmm. Is that one of the Anne Rice sort of rules, right? Is that vampires lose, because they've lost technically their humanity. Okay. They lose that human essence that creates great art. And so they actually kind of can't make great art for humans to consume, at least.
Well, and that's been said
because,
with the music.
The music didn't work for humans.
Right.
3.1 from Pitchfork.
But the vampires
are really responding to it, yes.
Right.
And they're hyped.
So that was revealed, and then this whole Regina thing.
The Regina thing was wild, yeah, and very intense.
And what it really boiled down to me was I think Armand is just so upset that neither Lestat or Louis love him the way that they love each other.
Yeah, he's nobody's favorite.
I mean, in a way, he kind of has some, the issues that Claudia had. Like, where...
Yeah, where, Claudia felt consistently, and to the point of her death, that Louis and Lestat would choose each other, did choose each other over and over again, to her detriment, and... Obviously, Lestat ultimately chose Louis.
But I will say, Armand has a lot of issues in the sense of honesty. We really don't know what... I still question if he actually likes Daniel. Or if it's just a pawn in his weird scheme.
He's teaching him to daywalk. Which... Yeah.
He needs to teach him to put some suntan lotion on.
He does, yes. Yes.
He was
I did get a little burned this week, and I was in my Daniel Malloy. Daywalking Yowie Manther phase per Daniel, as he describes himself.
Right.
Yeah. Boy, he had fun in that bowling alley. Yelling at Lestat.
Yeah.
Sticking his head in the bag into the dream, as it were.
Yeah, that whole scene was entertaining.
Yeah.
Especially, I did like the way that they were kind of cutting to that, because the Louis scene was getting so intense.
It's really, Louis is very, very heavy. They're both heavy, but Louis is so confined into this very real... it's a severed head attached to, it's not, I don't want to say realistic.
Well, and how about the hands were moving?
Yeah. Yeah, and, Dr. Farid's, monitoring the vitals, and, it feels...
Right. And they were, live streaming it.
Yeah, there was... So, I don't want to say real, but I will say more realistic feeling than what Lestat was going through in his,
And Armand is very online.
Armand is incredibly online. Armand is dialed in.
Yeah, but no, the bowling alley, I think... It was, in a way, a bit more light.
It was a little lighter. It was a little more... We get Raglan James back on the scene.
We also get Alex.
Who clearly
who's
just going through it.
I don't think he likes Daniel.
No. I don't think he's... Daniel's, a dick to him all the time.
Yeah, and I
mean,
was
it's
trying
everyone,
to really
but-
figure out Alex's play in all this.
Yeah.
Because obviously he also has Armand in his head.
Yeah.
Because we saw them, they met in that...
In the AA meeting.
Correct.
Yes. And, you know, either he believes it on his own or it's because it was imparted to him by Armand, but he surely believes that Lestat is responsible for Larry's death.
Correct.
So...
But then
That's enough reason to want to kill a guy, I guess.
But then I kind of got a sense that he didn't want Lestat to die.
Yeah.
But there was also something said about, well, Alex wants to play the concert. So...
Yeah, Alex wants to play.
So, I don't know. It was definite... Like, I think there's more to learn there than what was shown.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really quite understand where Alex's role was in the whole thing.
Yeah. I think we'll see more, presumably, of Alex. So,
but yeah, because of Raglan, the head gets saved.
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, and you know, to go back to, I do want to go back to the Louis scene for a moment. Because we do get an apology.
Yeah.
From Louis.
Yeah, and I think this really lovely monologue from Louis to Armand about his original suffering and the trauma that he went through in his human life and his, you know, his name Arun, you know, and the fact that, you know, Louis is kind of, I think, reckoning with the Armand, Arun, being trafficked as a child.
Yes.
With the real kind of realization in that moment that, like, maybe not in that moment, but he's articulating in that moment that was what he did in New Orleans, and that, you know, he dealt in that kind of work. He exploited people, he abused people, and is acknowledging that is also something that was done to Armand. I think was very generous and lovely. It
also was interesting when he said that they never talked about it.
And they didn't talk about it, yeah.
And they were together like
75 years, 77 years.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know, they were collecting paintings, driving across the Golden Gate Bridge.
Right.
You know, they were...
But they never
because they weren't... It wasn't Lestat.
Right.
Because it wasn't that... You know, and before this lovely sequence, you know, we do have Louis kind of... not stuttering, but, like, getting out, you know, love of my life was him. It's not Armand.
And it's always going to be
Lestat. Always going to be Lestat. Yes, always.
And clearly, you know, once their heads are put back on, they're
on, baby.
They're back. They're back together. They were like touching each other's scars.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and before we get to that, I mean, after the long table, we do have sort of the final sequence in Lestat's...
Yes, which was amazing.
Sort of dreamland, which was, the introduction to this show and the tease of Butterscotch Bitch, which ended up not being played in the episode, but has been available on Spotify for many weeks. I have played it a lot. It's a fun song. But amidst the intro to Butterscotch Bitch, we get another, you know, Lestat looking back on all the people he has either killed or turned or memorably traumatized, I believe is the phrase.
Yes.
That he used. And I thought it was amazing. I mean, really wonderful, really great like the editors of this show. I want to specifically shout out the editors of this show for the incredible montage of Lestat's entire life, essentially, as it's gone through the series.
Yes.
Stunning.
Yes.
Incredibly done. If you edit this show, congratulations.
That scene in particular was just so well done. And again, I really do love when a show such as this includes so many of the back characters.
Yeah. And brings people back, shows sort of one-off characters that are impactful. I mean, the tenor was impactful.
Yes.
We didn't meet Enzo previously, but we learned about this person that Lestat killed in Vienna in the 50s. Who had a present.
And then Lestat wondered...
Really hard if it made it to the person, to whom it was intended.
Like,
And then he gets tripped up on that grammar. And
yes.
And then it happens.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm ready to talk about it.
About Paul?
I don't know if I'm ready to talk about Paul.
No.
But I think I can get there.
Okay. Well,
I'm not going to cry.
Well, that scene, when Paul, I really liked the way that they had him kind of in the shadows.
Yeah.
And then, he kind of...
Just sort of, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say sneaks up.
But appears and, very unassumingly.
Yes. And the thing that I was touched by is just Paul's happiness.
Yeah.
That Lestat and Louis were together.
Yes, and that Lestat loved him the way that he needed to be loved per Louis.
Correct.
Which I thought was very lovely.
Yes.
And very generous.
Mm-hmm. And it was just such a nice way to put it, especially when you think back to their other interactions. Lestat and Paul.
They were a little fraught, I would say. And I would argue, memorably traumatized is reasonable for those interactions.
Yeah. I mean, thinking back to their meeting, it was again like a dinner party that Louis' mother was throwing.
There is an ocean between Christ and myself.
And also, Lestat was messing with his mind at the dinner table a little bit because Louis, of course, freaks out. Like, don't do that
here. Don't do that with my family. Like your weird little tricks.
Yeah,
stop it. Yeah.
So, I would say yes. He traumatized
Paul. Yeah, but it's still a really lovely moment between the two of them.
Well, and that was another moment that I did have to text you because after I watched it, I was like, wait, did he kill him?
And I think the show,
Yeah, but then after talking with you about it.
I think, you can certainly make an argument for it, but I feel really strong in the conviction that the show is not suggesting that he did that he killed Paul. And I don't think he did.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, I don't think he did. I do think he memorably traumatized him, and that's why he's present at the show. Or at the, the final moments here.
And
which he did add, and this is something I just need to talk about it really quickly.
Of course.
Paul saying, I still wish you were a woman. And Lestat says, me too sometimes. Woo!
Yes.
It's a great moment. I immediately got, screen grabs of it and texted it to lots of people. And I think I definitely said things like, yay, non-binary stat is canon, trans stat is canon, it's very exciting, and it is.
And especially when you think about,
it's beautiful.
I think we discussed this on one of our other shows, where that was a huge part of, the Gabriella character, which I feel they did not really explore.
They didn't really get into,
and it's unfortunate.
There's a lot of directions you could go with Gabriella and a lot to explore in terms of regarding
there really is.
Gender. I think, But
we got that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And I loved it. I was very excited to hear it and see it.
No, it was fantastic. I mean, honestly, that was another scene where I was like, these actors are incredible.
Incredible.
And just the writing, the dialogue is fantastic.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Just the way that the whole scene played out.
Yeah.
And again, being able to see these characters, and some of them were only in a single episode.
Yeah.
But they were very meaningful.
But they're really meaningful, and they were really important parts of the story.
Right.
Especially Paul, but definitely the tenor. I mean, we didn't get to see who Black Licorice really was, but we know they got a song written about them, and that's cool.
Right. And the other thing that I wanted to mention that I forgot to about Alex is I also enjoyed that Lestat kept calling him Plastic Dracula.
Plastic Dracula, yeah.
Because
his
of the
little
mask.
That was cute.
I felt like you really
Lestat liked Alex.
Well, I felt in this season, the thing that I've liked so much is kind of seeing the fun side of Lestat.
Yeah.
Whereas,
he's just,
in the Louis version, he's so, serious all
he's
the
pretty,
time.
Yeah, he's pretty intense and, not as covered in body glitter. And...
Well, It's not just the body
I
glamour.
know, but like, it adds whimsy.
But he's also very humorous.
Yes.
And, like, I don't feel we got to really see that in the other
No.
seasons because it was either, like, Lestat's angry.
Right.
Or Lestat's
like,
teaching.
Yeah.
You know?
The one time Lestat was fun was that Nosferatu impression.
Right! Like, that was the only time
They
where
had
he, like,
fun. They
let
had
loose.
some fun. But yes, he was a little more,
Or dropping him from the
intense.
sky.
Well, that's pretty, nothing funny about that.
No.
That was rough.
But, like, we don't, I just feel like in this season we got to see him, he was honestly more, like, human-like.
Yes, I think so, too. Yeah.
Not just a creature of the night.
Yeah. Well, and I think Louis' telling was exaggerated sometimes both in negativity and positivity. Like, he was, Lestat was sometimes built up and sometimes brought down in Louis' telling.
Well,
like, it kind of vacillated.
And as we've discussed, Louis kind of a baby.
Well, and Lestat isn't the most reliable narrator either.
No.
So I think everything, a grain of salt all around. But after this beautiful moment with Paul, the time is up. The timer goes off. The phone timer that's been threatening throughout. And Lestat wakes up on his bus.
In his coffin.
In his coffin, in the woods. Question for you. Would you be one of the 10,000 naive and beautifully unwell mortals in the woods, surrounded by 50,000 vampires? Would you be out there? Would you be up against the barricades?
That is a... I mean, sure, why not?
Yeah, let's go.
Like, what
I don't
am
like
I
the
doing?
woods, really, but like,
Oh,
I
I
can
love
make
the
it work.
woods.
Yeah, great.
That was actually really... Like, I loved that Lestat's like, yeah, I want to be in the woods and listen to birds.
Well,
I was like, I like
nice.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I like birds.
Because I'm kind of over city life.
That's fair. Well, let's get out there then. Let's take a road trip.
I would go to the concert.
We'll go to the show.
And whatever happens, happens.
Which, per momager Gabriella, the show must go on.
Well, so I was so proud of Lestat.
Me too.
For yelling at her and standing up. Because, no. He just went through a really horrific
traumatic experience.
Where he almost died again.
Yes. For reals.
But for real. Time. Right. And also... She didn't even ask if he's okay.
That doesn't need him to be okay. She just needs him to be, it's very like, I felt like it was giving toddlers and tiaras. Like, she's just going to give him like...
Yes!
Like go-go juice. It's just blood in like a sippy cup and like a giant pixie stick of cocaine. And like, get him out there.
Well, she was literally...
Put his flippers in. Get him a spray tan.
She was literally like, oh good, your head's back on.
Head's back on.
Show's
Let's
back
go.
on.
Come on. We're behind schedule here, baby. Let's go.
I want to know what her real motivation is for this show.
For the great conversion.
Because to me, it does seem a bit problematic if you're turning everyone.
Who are you going to eat?
Right.
I do wonder about it. I wonder
what is her motivation?
Mathematics of this decision.
The only thing I can kind of, I guess, grasp or what comes out of it for me is that she just likes the chaos.
I mean,
the utter
just
insanity, like the chaos where the world.
Well, and she's kind of like the ultimate vampire, like completely divorced from her humanity.
Oh yeah,
doing whatever she wants to do. Vampirism, right, is very up her alley. It's what she, it's total freedom, it's total liberation.
She can do as she pleases.
Do whatever she wants, regardless of, violence or destruction.
Which when you think about, and when you think about her life before becoming a vampire, it was fully controlled.
Yes.
And she had no say, and now she can do whatever the hell she wants.
Yes, she can, and she's doing it.
Yeah. So, but I was really glad that he stood up to her.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I mean, we don't see how everything plays out, but
we know it's bad.
I think he's going to end up on stage.
It seems like it. It seems like...
Even though he stood up to her.
Yeah, she's going to have her way. And
But also we found out, too, like, the Talamasca wants the concert to happen.
They do. So what's
So
what's
I think that
Raglan?
there's probably
Yeah.
going to be several forces that kind of get him on
the
stage,
stage.
because we also know the band wanted to go on.
Yeah, Alex wants to play.
Right.
So,
Yes.
we don't see that, but we do end up in Lestat's apartment in Montreal sometime later, where he's recording
Right.
the failures, which is what we've been listening to as voiceover all season.
Which we now know. The failures is from
Yeah.
like his
Yes.
his death dream.
Yes.
If you want to call it
That's
that.
right. And introed by Guy Madden.
Yes.
Which is just fun.
Because that was something we didn't mention is his
so much
mother.
failure.
His
We
mother.
didn't talk about the failure.
The mother
Talk about our failure.
said, "Your whole damn life is a failure." Which I'm
Right.
like,
Which,
but lady, whose fault is that?
well, and he does get to a point where he can say, if I failed, it's because I actually attempted something.
Correct.
And I think
Good
that's
for him.
great. That's growth,
Yeah, because
I
I thought the same thing. People that fail, at least you tried.
You tried something, and I think that's
You didn't just
really
sit.
nice. Yeah.
You tried, it didn't work, and you learned from that.
Yeah.
But I also do
Well, and I
not think
think
he was a failure.
Lestat spent a lot of time not learning from it in his existence,
Sure.
and he's just sort of now on a path where he is and has a
Right.
bit. Unfortunately, it's not great timing.
Well, he needs to
A lot
make,
of destruction has happened.
He needs to make his amends.
He's got to make some amends. I think that's the only... Yeah, he sure does. And, he wraps up recording his failures.
In his silk robe.
In his lovely outfit, yes, smoking a cigarette, which I did write down. If I were immortal, I would smoke every second. Because it's a true fact about me. I would just be constantly...
Well, and what does
what's
it matter?
It wouldn't matter. It would be great.
Yeah.
And yeah, here we are, where he gets up to go to his balcony in the daytime, I might note.
Yes!
And there's not a lot left of Montreal.
No.
Montreal is not having a good
Moment.
period. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing. Where do you think it's going to go from here? I mean, obviously, after seeing this episode,
yeah.
I realized in the first episode that we saw of this season, where they're like having the auction.
Yeah.
Clearly, that auction is
the
happening
aftermath
after
of these things, yes.
Yes.
Because A of all, we're getting the failure. Like, the failures are being auctioned.
Correct.
The recordings. Louis and Armand are not looking... They're looking a little worse for wear.
Right, so something happened there.
Raglan James is present.
We don't know where Lestat is.
We don't know. We just don't know.
Right.
Anything could happen.
So, to me, I feel like these are all good signs that there's going to be more.
I think, yes.
Because they were laying groundwork.
Very surprised if there aren't. And I hope it doesn't take a terribly long time to get to them, to make them.
Right.
I know it's a
maybe they
tough
already
show.
started.
This is my fervent hope. I don't know. But
I feel like there's a good sign because of the groundwork they've already laid.
yeah, and I think AMC seems pretty all in. I mean, if they keep... I have a hard time believing they'd renew Mayfair Witches and not this show, frankly.
Well, I've never watched The Witches.
It just seems like it would surprise me a great deal, without really having to say anything about the Mayfair Witches.
Yeah, I think that there was a lot left on the table.
Yeah.
And then the fact that they were kind of previewing or showing you things to come.
Yeah.
Because, for example, like, I think we deserve to see the concert.
I think we absolutely do, yes.
So I do think that is still
Yeah.
going to happen. And then obviously whatever occurs.
Whatever happens at that concert
Correct.
to kick off, yes, the
This
apocalypse,
whole-
essentially.
The apocalypse and...
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to know, like, why is Lestat walking in the sun?
What's going on?
How did that happen?
What's up?
Right.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that there is a lot more story to tell here.
Yes.
The other thing I wanted to point out, too, is that I did like that they brought Regina into that scene with
me
Louis.
too.
I know it's jumping back, but
no, but I think she was great in it, Delaney Hales, and
and I'm glad that they left that open.
Yeah,
that she could come back again.
I think it's a wise move in any situation to keep Delaney Hales around. I think she's so excellent, and now she's essentially playing two characters this season, and she did great.
I have this feeling she's gonna get turned.
May? Oh, God.
Like, again, I don't know why, but, like, I just was like, was Armand... Like, I just did not know what Armand was going to do.
Yeah,
in
maybe
that
so.
Scene.
Maybe so. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where they'll go. What they'll pick, I think they pick they change a lot from the books. Mm-hmm. They bring other books into these,
which
adaptations. I think is great because it keeps you guessing. And
it does keep you guessing, and I also think though that they are making smart choices with the things that they're bringing in from the other books because the timing makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's all really well thought out.
You had mentioned to me for example, the seance. Mm-hmm. That didn't come into play till several books later. Mm. But I thought it made sense to have it now.
I think it was,
It was the perfect
wonderful.
time.
Yeah. And it was such a great scene. And she was again, Delaney Hales, just an incredible part of this season and the show overall. And I think, I said this at the beginning, and I'll say it now as we're kind of starting to wrap it up, that there were cliffhangers this season. There's a lot to think about what's coming next. There's a lot we didn't see. And there's a lot in this episode that happened that didn't really drive things so much as really get into the characters' heads and watch them reckon with decades and centuries of trauma and horror. And I felt like we came away with not only the audience having a greater understanding of these characters, but the characters having a greater understanding of themselves, which is something so interesting to do with vampire characters, with immortal characters. You have infinite time to look inward, and I don't think they do that much.
Well, clearly
and so much of this episode was them being forced to confront these things. But you have to think
about
and I thought it was wonderful.
The time that they were born.
Yeah, well, they're not primed to do that, no.
And I mean, people even in 2025,
aren't
2026, struggle to work on themselves.
Yeah.
So they were born in a time where that just was you don't do that.
Yeah.
Especially...
There's not language for that even in many,
right.
Yeah.
And I even think back to, when I started going to therapy, there was a part of an aversion because of even just my family being backward and thinking oh, well, you have to be crazy then.
Yeah.
And it's no.
It's
actually really helpful to talk to somebody.
Absolutely.
Especially a neutral source.
Exactly.
So, I mean, in the end, I guess they all need some sort of therapy. Especially Armand.
Definitely Armand. They all do. And, they mentioned it they both agreed in episode 6 that they needed, Lestat said he needed to do some work on himself, and...
Yes.
They both, everybody does.
To hear Armand say that.
Well, yeah, we'll see what happens.
But, as we're wrapping up here, I will say, this episode, though, did turn me into an Armand fan. Because...
I knew it was going to happen one day. I knew it!
I just really liked how extreme he went.
Yes.
It entertained me.
It's great.
I didn't enjoy seeing him do those things to Louis, but I was just wow, he's
wonderful television.
He's going there.
Yeah.
He's actually going there. And then before he walked out of the room, he freaking marked Louis.
He did do that. That was rude.
But it's going to go away.
It'll go away, yeah.
But for a time being, it's going to be there. He was making a point. And I'm assuming Lestat will see it.
He's going to love that.
So
good, I hope we get that scene.
I hope we get that scene.
Yes.
I want to see it when they're touching the scars.
Yes.
That's another
romantic,
scar.
yeah.
So, Okay, well, before we sign off, we did want to tell you that this is not the end.
No, we're immortal, just like the vampires.
So we decided that we're going to continue the show, but go all the way back to the beginning and start with the first season. So probably look for that sometime late fall.
I think so. We're
still
take a little
kind
break
of working on the schedule
and figuring out when we want to shoot this, and it's going to be really fun.
But oh darn, we have to watch the whole thing
again.
again.
I got to start again for the 12th time. I don't mind.
And then the other exciting thing is that, as you know, we have this lovely publication, MovieJawn, but it's always focusing on movies. Well, we are going to try a new thing and make a TV John version, and it's going to be all about Interview with the Vampire. So watch out for that. We're hoping to have it out mid-October.
Yeah.
And it will feature writing from a bunch of the MovieJawn staff, and Kate and myself are going to edit it. And we're really excited.
I can't wait. I think it's going to be really fun.
It's going to have all sorts of great articles.
Lists. Art.
Yes. I'm really excited. We're going to do a whole article about Lestat's book club.
Yeah. It's going to be really fun.
And his...
What was he reading with Ray Nagin and James Carville and Cortland Mayfair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
what was going on in there?
Make sure you're following MovieJawn on Instagram, Blue Sky, and visit our website, MovieJawn.com. And I think that's it.
I think that's the end of the road for now. Yeah, the end of the tour.
So hopefully we'll be back, though, to talk about
yes, we'll be back.
I think it's going to happen.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we'll be back.
Well, thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.